Welcome back to Think and Speak podcast. Today's topic is powerful, professional, and essential: how to talk about management in English. Mr. Miller, many English learners work in offices or lead teams, but they struggle to discuss leadership, strategy, and decision-making confidently, don't they?
That's absolutely right, Emma. They may understand business concepts, but when it comes to explaining management styles, giving feedback, or discussing performance, they hesitate because they lack the right vocabulary and grammar structures.
Exactly. Management conversations require clarity, confidence, and professionalism. You cannot simply say, "The boss is good." You need structured language, precise verbs, and persuasive expressions.
In this episode, we will teach you modern business English, including useful phrases, modal verbs for leadership, conditionals for strategy, and professional vocabulary that managers use every day.
If you want to sound confident in meetings, interviews, and leadership discussions, this lesson is for you. Like this video right now and comment below. Are you a manager or do you want to become one?
Stay with us until the end, and you will speak about management like a true professional.
Mr. Miller, let us begin with the basics. When someone talks about management in English, what kind of vocabulary and grammar structures are most commonly used? Many learners know simple words like manager or team, but they do not know how to describe leadership style, responsibilities, or decision-making processes in a professional way. Could you explain how to talk about management roles clearly and confidently? Please include useful business vocabulary and explain which grammar tenses are commonly used when describing responsibilities, routines, and long-term strategies.
Excellent starting point, Emma. When discussing management, clarity and structure are essential. Let us begin with vocabulary. Key management terms include leadership, strategy, decision-making, delegation, performance, productivity, accountability, objectives, targets. Now let us discuss grammar structures. When describing responsibilities, we commonly use the present simple tense because it expresses routine or permanent duties. For example, a manager oversees daily operations. She coordinates team projects. He sets performance targets. Structure. Subject plus base verb, add s for third person singular. Present simple is used because these are general responsibilities, not temporary actions. Now consider describing current projects. Here we use the present continuous tense. We are implementing a new strategy. She is leading a cross-functional team. Structure. Subject plus am slash is slash are plus verb ing. Present continuous expresses ongoing activities. When talking about past achievements, use past simple. The company increased productivity last year. He improved team communication. For long-term results connected to the present, use present perfect. We have achieved significant growth. She has developed strong leadership skills. Structure. Have slash has plus past participle. Now let us examine modal verbs in management language. A manager must communicate clearly. Leaders should motivate their teams. Must expresses obligation. Should expresses recommendation. Professional descriptions often use formal verbs instead of simple ones. Instead of give tasks, say delegate tasks. Instead of fix problems, say resolve issues. Instead of make plans, say develop strategies. For example, a good manager develops long-term strategies and ensures team alignment. Understanding these grammar structures, present simple for duties, present continuous for ongoing actions, present perfect for achievements, and modal verbs for responsibility, helps learners discuss management confidently and professionally.
Mr. Miller, management often involves giving feedback and evaluating employee performance. Many learners feel uncomfortable discussing strengths and weaknesses in English. How can someone give constructive feedback professionally without sounding too direct or too negative? What grammar structures help soften criticism and make suggestions effectively? Please include examples using modal verbs, conditionals, and polite expressions that managers typically use in workplace conversations.
That is a critical skill, Emma. Giving feedback requires balance, clarity, and diplomacy. First, Let us examine positive feedback using present simple. You consistently deliver high-quality work. You demonstrate strong leadership skills. The adverb consistently strengthens praise. Now, when giving constructive criticism, managers often use modal verbs to soften statements. Instead of, "You are wrong," you might want to reconsider this approach. Structure. Subject plus might plus want plus to plus base verb. This softens the suggestion. Another common structure uses should. You should focus more on time management. Should expresses advice, not command. Conditionals are also powerful in feedback. If you improve communication, you will see better results. This is the first conditional. If plus present simple, will plus base verb. It shows a realistic future outcome. For more diplomacy, managers use second conditional. If we were to adjust the timeline, we could improve efficiency. Structure. If plus past simple, could slash would plus base verb. This sounds hypothetical and less confrontational. Present perfect can highlight patterns. I've noticed that deadlines have been challenging recently. Structure. Have plus past participle. This avoids blaming the person directly. Polite expressions are also essential. I would suggest. It might be helpful to. Perhaps we could. Would and could reduce directness. Example. I would suggest reviewing the report before submission. In summary, effective management communication uses modal verbs for softening, conditionals for solutions, present perfect for patterns, and professional vocabulary. Constructive feedback should guide improvement, not create defensiveness.
Mr. Miller, let us discuss strategic planning. Managers often talk about goals, long-term vision, and future performance. What grammar structures are most useful when discussing future plans and company strategy? Should managers use will, going to, or present continuous when explaining business plans? Could you clarify the differences and provide practical examples of professional language used in meetings or presentations?
Excellent, Emma. Strategic planning heavily relies on future forms. Let us compare them. First, going to is used for planned intentions. We are going to expand into new markets. They are going to launch a new product. Structure. Subject plus am slash is slash are plus going to plus base verb. This indicates a prior decision. Now, present continuous is used for scheduled arrangements. We are meeting investors next week. We are presenting the proposal tomorrow. Structure. Subject plus am slash is slash are plus verb ing. It shows fixed arrangements with time references. Next, will expresses decisions made at the moment or promises. We will address this issue immediately. I will follow up by email. Will often expresses commitment. Managers also use modal verbs for strategic language. We may explore additional partnerships. We might consider alternative suppliers. These express possibility. Conditionals are important in strategy discussions. If sales increase, we will hire more staff. First conditional shows realistic projection. 4. Hypothetical strategy. If we invested more in technology, we would improve productivity. Second conditional expresses unreal or speculative planning. Present perfect can describe progress. We have made significant progress this quarter. In professional meetings, combining these structures creates clarity. We are going to implement new software next month. If the transition is successful, we will expand it company-wide. Understanding the difference between intention, arrangement, decision, and prediction allows managers to communicate vision effectively. That is how leaders speak clearly about management and strategy in modern business English.
Mr. Miller, I would like to talk about leadership styles in management. Many professionals are asked in interviews or meetings to describe their leadership approach. However, learners often struggle to explain whether they are collaborative, authoritative, or transformational leaders. How can someone describe their leadership style clearly and professionally in English? What vocabulary and grammar structures should they use to sound confident and structured? Please include examples using present simple, present perfect, and descriptive adjectives so our viewers can answer this question effectively in real business situations.
That is a very practical question, Emma. Describing leadership style requires both precise vocabulary and correct grammar structures. Let us begin with the present simple tense, which is commonly used to describe general characteristics and consistent behavior. For example, I adopt a collaborative leadership style. I focus on empowering my team members. I encourage open communication. Structure. Subject plus base verb, add s for third person singular. The present simple works well because leadership style reflects habitual behavior. Now let us expand with descriptive adjectives. Collaborative, strategic, results-driven, supportive, transparent, decisive, adaptable. For example, I am a results-driven manager who values accountability. I am a supportive leader who believes in team development. Here, we use linking verb am plus adjective or noun phrase. Next, the present perfect tense helps describe accumulated experience. I have developed strong communication skills over the years. I have managed cross-functional teams in international environments. Structure. Have/has plus past participle. Present perfect connects past experience to current ability. You can also combine structures. I focus on clear goal setting, and I have consistently achieved performance targets. The adverb, consistently, strengthens credibility. If explaining philosophy, I believe that effective leadership requires trust and transparency. Present simple expresses belief. In interviews, a strong response might sound like this. I would describe my leadership style as collaborative and strategic. I focus on setting clear objectives, and I have successfully led teams through complex projects. Notice how vocabulary, present simple, and present perfect work together. In summary, describing leadership style requires descriptive adjectives, present simple for habits, and present perfect for experience. That is how professionals communicate leadership identity confidently.
Mr. Miller, management also involves handling conflict within teams. Disagreements can occur between employees, departments, or even leadership levels. Many learners feel uncomfortable discussing conflict resolution in English because they fear sounding too direct or too emotional. How can someone explain how they manage workplace conflict professionally? Which grammar structures and phrases help maintain neutrality and diplomacy? Please provide examples using conditionals, modal verbs, and formal vocabulary that managers can use in interviews or meetings.
That is a crucial management skill, Emma. Conflict resolution requires calm language and diplomatic grammar structures. Let us begin with neutral vocabulary. Resolve issues. Address concerns. Facilitate discussion. Encourage dialogue. Reach a compromise. Align expectations. Now, when explaining conflict management, professionals often use the present simple. I address conflicts by encouraging open communication. I listen to all perspectives before making a decision. Present simple expresses general approach. Modal verbs soften authority. I would encourage both parties to express their concerns. We should focus on finding a solution rather than assigning blame. Would sounds less forceful than will. Should expresses recommendation. Conditionals are especially useful. First conditional. If a conflict arises, I will arrange a meeting immediately. Structure. If plus present simple, will plus base verb. This shows realistic action. Second conditional for hypothetical discussion. If team members were more transparent, misunderstandings would decrease. Structure. If plus past simple, would plus base verb. This sounds analytical, not accusatory. Present perfect can describe experience. I have successfully resolved cross-departmental disagreements. It emphasizes achievement without focusing on negativity. Diplomatic phrasing is important. There appears to be a misunderstanding. It seems that expectations were not clearly defined. Passive voice can also reduce blame. The deadline was not communicated clearly. Instead of, you did not communicate the deadline. Passive voice shifts focus from person to action. In summary, Effective conflict discussion uses neutral vocabulary, modal verbs for diplomacy, conditionals for solutions, present perfect for experience, and sometimes passive voice to avoid direct blame. This combination allows managers to discuss sensitive situations professionally and confidently. That is the language of modern leadership communication.
Mr. Miller, I would like to talk about decision-making in management. Managers are constantly required to make important decisions that affect teams, budgets, and long-term strategy. However, many English learners struggle to explain how they make decisions in a structured and professional way. How can someone describe their decision-making process clearly in English? Which grammar structures are useful when explaining analysis, evaluation, and final conclusions? Please include examples using sequencing words, modal verbs, and conditionals so our viewers can confidently discuss decision-making in interviews and business meetings.
Excellent topic, Emma. Explaining decision-making requires logical structure and precise language. First, sequencing words are essential. They help organize ideas clearly. First, then, next, after that, finally. For example, first, I gather relevant data. Then, I analyze potential risks. Finally, I make a decision based on long-term objectives. This explanation uses the present simple tense, which is appropriate when describing a general process or routine. Now let us include modal verbs. Managers often say, I must consider the company's long-term goals. We should evaluate the potential risks. We may need to consult stakeholders. Must expresses strong obligation. Should suggests recommendation. May expresses possibility. Conditionals are also important in decision-making discussions. First, conditional. If the data supports the proposal, we will proceed with implementation. Structure. If plus present simple, will plus base verb. Second, conditional for hypothetical scenarios. If we invested more in training, we would improve employee performance. Structure. If plus past simple, would plus base verb. These structures show analytical thinking. Present perfect is useful when referring to experience. I have made similar decisions in the past, and the results have been positive. This connects previous experience to current competence. Professional vocabulary strengthens responses. Assess, evaluate, analyze, implement, prioritize, mitigate risks. For example, I prioritize tasks based on urgency and strategic impact. In meetings, managers may say, based on the analysis, we will move forward with the project. The phrase, based on, signals logical reasoning. In summary, effective decision-making explanations use sequencing words, present simple for process description, modal verbs for obligation and possibility, conditionals for consequences, and present perfect for experience. This structure demonstrates clarity, logic, and professionalism.
Mr. Miller, for our final question, I would like to discuss motivation and team development. A strong manager does not only manage tasks but also inspires people. Many learners struggle to explain how they motivate employees and support professional growth. How can someone talk about employee development and motivation in English using professional language? Please provide examples using present simple, present perfect, and future forms so our viewers can confidently discuss leadership development strategies in interviews or presentations.
That is a powerful final topic, Emma. Motivation and development are central to effective management. Let us begin with the present simple, which describes ongoing leadership behavior. I encourage continuous learning. I provide regular feedback. I set clear and achievable goals. These statements describe consistent actions. Now let us expand with professional vocabulary. Mentorship, professional development, skill enhancement, performance evaluation, career progression, training programs. For example, I support career progression by offering mentorship opportunities. Present perfect highlights achievements. I have implemented several training programs. I have helped team members improve their performance. Structure. Have/has plus past participle. This emphasizes leadership impact. Future forms are important when discussing development plans. Using going to for planned intentions. We are going to introduce a leadership workshop next quarter. Using will for commitment. I will continue to invest in employee growth. Managers also use modal verbs. Employees should feel empowered to share ideas. We must create a supportive work environment. Conditionals show strategic thinking. If employees feel valued, they will be more productive. First conditional expresses realistic cause and effect. Second conditional for hypothetical development. If we offered more flexible schedules, morale would improve. Professional tone also includes phrases like, I believe in fostering a culture of accountability. My goal is to create an environment where employees can thrive. The phrase, where employees can thrive, uses a relative clause to add sophistication. In summary, discussing motivation requires present simple for routine leadership actions, present perfect for achievements, future forms for planning, modal verbs for principles, and conditionals for outcomes. When learners combine these grammar structures with precise vocabulary, they can confidently present themselves as capable and inspiring leaders. That is the language of modern management communication.